What makes a city to be a good place to live in? What kind of role does heritage partake in making a good city?
Historical transformation is a heritage value. We believe that the deep historic continuity in the city can and should link to its needs for multiple changes, ensuring that these changes are made by and for the people. That's why it's essential to understand the values people attach to the deep city, focusing not only on what we can see, but also on what we can feel, discover, uncover, and not see but experience. This is the Deep Cities Toolbox.
With the concept deep cities, we first of all thought about this as a way to frame a political dimension. If there is anything about heritage, is that heritage is about politics. In political documents and in political strategy, you have other concepts like the smart city, which is about technological, innovative cities. And you have the green city, which is about an environmentally sound city. And we also need a focus on the deep city, which is the layering of cities. All the cities underneath the city that is today, and how that is a heritage value that can partake in urban placemaking. The second way we are using this concept of deep city is the social sustainability of cities. That means it's not enough to make economically good cities, you also have to have the social and cultural dimension into it. And we want to examine how heritage has a vital part of making livable cities. As a conceptual approach to deep cities, we also introduce the theory called critical urban theory as a theoretical concept to understand the social dynamics that happenings in cities. It's a way to critically examine urban development based on heritage and find practical solutions to social needs, social problems in the city. That is exactly what our project intends to do. You also have to understand the complexity of how placemaking is taking place. Therefore, we also introduced as part of the critical urban theory what is called urban ensemble theory that try to grasp this complexity in multiple forms. That means how nature, how the materiality of the city also has an active component in developing cities, and also social-spatial dimensions of the city that adds to the complexity of the social relationship between the social dimension to analyze. All these complexities we wanted to use as a framework for getting further with the project. The methods of this research when it comes to work package 1 in Kubernetes Deep Cities project is first of all to make an overall map of what is the dynamic interactions in urban placemaking. And this model is based on binary distinctions, for instance, between formal and informal processes. Formal could be the authorities, it could be the planners, the experts, how they are part in placemaking. The informal could be more a people-centered approach where people have their rights to define the city. The other binary distinctions will be a place of being, which is how the place is planned, and the opposite of that is a place of becoming. That means it's in dynamic interactions and always in process of becoming something new. Urban ensemble theory is a way to understand that, to make unique urban places, different from place to place, and that resonates with people living there and want to be there. In Oslo, we have chosen 3 case studies because they could be comparable with each other based on this overall model, ensemble model introduced. The first case study in Oslo that we are using is called Tukthuset. Tukthuset was back in the 1800 prison. Later on, they tear down the whole area except of the wall because it's this kind of dark heritage or painful heritage was not suitable for having in the center of the city. And that wall was being used into an urban development plan that took place around 2000. So today, we have part of this wall, which is a relic trace of the whole prison. Part of a restaurant goes in the street and goes into office building on the other side. Among them are police station, and other facilities. We see that it's a very formal process that has shaped the urban placemaking with heritage at this place. The planners and the authorities and the heritage management have gone together and figured out how this place should be. And it's more a place of being. That means it is designed as it is, and it's how it's going to be more or less also in the future. The second case study, the Vulcan area in Oslo. It's an old industrial area for workers that worked there in the late 1800s. It decayed, and the question was what to do with this area, this kind of wasteland. Today, by the river, you have a bridge going over and a waterfall, and you're using these old industrial sites to, among other things, as a food market, and there's a living area, and there's all kind of other facilities that making suddenly this place to be a livable place in the city, a whole new city in the city. So in this case, when using this overall model, it has been formal processes, but also informal processes involved. They have collected the needs, the interpretations of people, and the stakeholders that want to invest in this area. And it's still a place of being more than a place of becoming. It's designed for these purposes. It's designed for being a place where you can shop and being a place where you can live. The third case study that we have been looking into is called Søringkaia. It's the harbor of Oslo. Early in the industrial period was filled with cranes and ships and all activities of goods, and later become a place with containers, a kind of shady place to be. And then they decided to change the whole area, and today they build this area as living houses near the seafront, with restaurants and even a beach and a place where people can swim. Søringkaia today is a formal process, designed as living places, living houses, but it's very dominated by informal processes, because it's not only a place for people living there, it's a place for the whole city. So the heritage is more a semiotic dimension. It's visible by the pictures, the old photographs in the building, showing the past glory of this place as a harbor. When comparing these case studies, you have at least 3 bullet points, three kind of topics that is interesting. The first one is about formal versus informal processes. The second one is more how is the role of heritage, from being active or passive. And the third is more how open and closed are place for new interpretations. Using these 3 bullet points, we can use the model to discuss more in detail what is the driving forces, what is the processes, and what is dynamic interactions in places where heritage is used in urban placemaking. This approach could be used in at least 3 ways. First of all, it could be useful to make an awareness of what kind of theoretical glass do you have when you approach the way to understand how urban placemaking through heritage is taking place. The second topic is that you can use this as a source for modeling. A model is taking into all kind of factors that is involved in urban placemaking, and try to grasp that in one model is important. So you can play with that model in order to understand what's going on in a specific place. And the third perspective of this is that it could be useful as a critical reflexive tool. It means that you can use it to evaluate good or bad planning processes, and use this critically reflexive way of looking at urban placemaking in order to learn from practice and to make better cities, to make better urban environments for all people in the future.